I'm going to tackle about the section 1, 2, and 3. So what is section 1? The scope and the coverage. So the scope and the coverage of this order is firstly is the foreign goods subject of co-loading under section 4 of RA number 10668, or an act allowing foreign vessels to transport and co-load foreign goods for domestic transshipment and for other purposes, and their implementing rules and regulations. So foreign goods for shifting, temporarily unloaded due to emergency or necessity, and to be reloaded on board the same carrier and voyage or flight. So what is section 2 all about? Section 2 all about is their objectives. So the objectives is to provide guidelines for the movement, transfer, and clearance of transshipment goods, and to protect and public welfare through the institution and safeguards and control measures over transshipment of goods. Section 3 of this order is the definition of terms. So first is the airway bill. Airway bill is a transport document for air freight used by airlines and international freight forwarders that specifies the holder or consignee of the bill who has the right to claim delivery of the goods when they arrive at the port of destination. So airway bill kay mo siya kanang tracking sa all goods nga gikan sa other countries nga maabot diri sa atong country, or let's say receipt siya for transportation sa mga goods. So next is the authorized agent bank, or the AAB, shall refer to a commercial bank authorized by the Bureau to collect payment duties, taxes, and other charges. So AAB, or from the word bank, authorized agent bank. So this is the bank for all the payment. So gin-authorize niya sa Bureau. So next is the carrier. Carrier, it shall refer to the person actually transporting goods or in charge of or responsible for the operation. So mo ni siya ang responsible sa mga transporting sa mga goods. So let's say sila ang mo provide sa mga documents like the airway bill for the airs nga mga transporting ginamit for para mabot ang goods, and then for other nga mga documents, bill of lading, and many more. So next is customs broker. Customs broker shall refer to any person who is a bona fide holder of a valid certificate of registration or professional identification card issued by the Professional Regulatory Board, or the PRC, and Professional Regulation Commission. So customs broker, from the word customs broker, kita, or like mga nang-graduate and they take sa exam, so they are called as licensed customs broker. So what is bona fide, by the way? Bona fide comes from a Latin word, in good faith, which means kita. So gibutang siya as bona fide ang mga customs broker kay for us, or sila ang sila ang ginasaligan ang mga license or mga customs broker. Sila ang ginasaligan for preventing the smuggled or fraud nga goods. So that's why we have, or they call as customs broker. Next is customs facilities and warehouse, or CFW, shall refer to facilities for temporary storage of goods established and authorized by the Bureau pursuant to Title 8, Chapter 2 of the CMTA, which is the customs warehouses. So yeah, from the word facilities and warehouses, for temporary storage of the goods. Next is derogatory information shall refer to verifiable information indicating that a certain shipment is in high risk of probable violation of the provisions of the CMTA. So derogatory information is mo ni siya ang kanang, from the word verifiable information. Dili siya automatically nga nagmean og person or a company nga guilty sila sa ilang wrongdoings, but it simply nag-raise ra og concerns ang other party nga mag-require og further investigation. So that's what we call derogatory information. So next is the foreign goods. So foreign goods shall refer to goods of foreign origin, mga goods nga gikan sa gawas. So yeah, that's foreign goods. And goods, next is goods shall refer to articles, wares, merchandise, and other items which are subject of importation, exportation, and or transshipment. So goods, from the word goods, dili ra kaya kanang mga muna na to na goods nga mga foods, tanan nga mga ipang transport and ipang export nga mga goods. So next is the Inward Foreign Cargo Manifest, or the IFCM, also known as Inward Goods Declaration, which contains the particulars of an import shipment such as transport document number, name of the carrier, voyage of flight number, name of consignor and consignees, marks and numbers, container information of sea freight, kinds and number of packages, description and quantities, weights and measures of the goods, port of loading and intended destination. So IFCM kay document siya nga nag-contain og mga details sa vessel nga maabot sa country, dili lang sa vessel kundi ang mga goods pod. So next is the marshalling yard. Shall refer to a place where containers are stacked and arranged according to the sequence of withdrawal to inside the port or custom zone. So, ang marshalling yard kay mao ni siya ang like diha bitaw ang mga imported goods nga temporary store lang sa kay kanang mer na siya kanang what we call this one, sukad nga na-arrive siya. So yeah, sukad nga na-arrive siya kay after checking sa mga customs clearances kay i-sort out man na siya sa kanang warehouses or what we call marshalling yard. So i-sort na siya diha, and then next for that is the inspection and then to be released na. So ang kaning marshalling yard kay man ni siya marag temporary store of the goods for delivery. So that's marshalling yard. So next is the master of the vessel. Shall refer to the term that is given to the captain of a ship or the chief commanding officer of a ship. So from the word master of the vessel, so mara siya kanang sabotable naman siguro sa captain of a ship. Yeah. And the next is the perishable goods. Shall refer to goods liable to perish or goods that depreciate greatly in value while stored, or which cannot be kept without great disproportionate expense. So perishable goods kanang bitaw ang mga goods nga dili dapat i-keep og dugay kay kanang dali sila madaot, like mga vegetables, meat, fruits, and other nga mga perishable goods. So next is pilot in command. Shall refer to a person aboard the aircraft who is ultimately responsible for its operation and safety during flight. So yeah, pilot in command. Pilot, siya ang siya ang person nga aboard sa kanang aircraft nga nagpalupad ana. So yeah, next is the port of entry. Shall refer to the first Philippine port of call of a foreign carrier. So port of entry man na siya ang kanang mga dungguanan sa mga foreign nga mga carrier. First port call nila. So next is the port of final destination of goods. So shall refer to the last foreign port of call of a carrier to unload foreign goods. So ang port of final destination man siya ang kanang last call nila kung asa jud nila tagak ang mga goods. So yeah, that's port of final destination of goods. So next is shifting of goods. Shall refer to the movement of goods for any purpose other than the regular handling. So shifting of goods kay kanang from the word shifting, balhin hantod maabot siya sa yang final nga destination. So next is transfer note. Shall refer to a document that accompanies the transfer of transshipment goods to a custom facility and warehouse, or the CFW. It also commonly referred to as boat note. So transfer note, document na siya nga nag-support sa mga transshipment goods nga gikan sa custom facility and warehouse to further delivery and sa iyang further destination. So next is transshipment, refers to the customs procedure under which goods are transferred under customs control from the importing means of transport to the exporting means of transport within the area of one customs office, which is the office of both importation and exportation. Next is transshipment goods, refer to goods that are transferred under customs control from the importing means of transporting and to the exporting means of transport within the area of one customs office, which is also the same sa last office of both importation and exportation. So what are the difference between the two, the transshipment and transshipment goods? Transshipment is a process itself. Process gid siya siya gid ang kanang amo na ang ang procedure sa where the goods kay ma-ship and nga mabot sa further destination, while the transshipment goods kay mo na siya ang actual items nga that are being transferred bitaw. So transshipment goods gid siya, while the transshipment is kanang procedure siya kung unsaon pag-deliver ang goods sa iyang destination. So next is transshipment goods declaration, shall refer to a document which is required by the BOC to be submitted, particularly describing the nature and quantity of the goods subject of transshipment, duly supported by transport documents. So transshipment goods declaration, it is a document nga nag-describe siya sa mga quantities sa mga goods. So 20-foot equivalent unit or the TEU shall refer to a unit of the capacity of a container ship. The dimension of one TEU is equal to that of a standard 20-footer shipping container, or the 20-foot long and 8 feet high. So that's TEU. So last is the weapons of mass destruction. It refers to any destructive device or weapon that is designed or intended to cause death, serious bodily injury through the release, dissemination, or impact of toxic or poisonous chemicals or their precursors. Any weapon involving a biological agent, toxin, or vector, or any weapon that is designed to release radiation, radioactivity at a level dangerous of human life. This includes but not limited to nuclear and radiological explosive devices and their major subsystems. Secondly, chemicals covered by Schedule 1, 2, and 3 of the Chemical Weapons Convention. And lastly, biological agents and biologically derived substances specifically developed, configured, or modified for the purpose of increasing their capability to produce casualties in humans or livestock, degrade equipment, or damage crops. So ang kaning WMD kay mo ni siya ang significant concerns ni siya sa customs or this order because it pose a serious threat manggod sa national security and public safety. So that's why this is kanang murag dili man tanan excluded, but some of it if mag-use ni siya og kanang for cause of death sa mga public. So next is section 4, that would be Ruela's discussion.
So we have section 4, the general provisions. First, treatment of transshipment goods. Goods intended for transshipment shall not be subject to the payment of duties and taxes, provided that the transshipment goods declaration particularly indicates such nature of goods, duly supported by commercial or transport documents or evidence as required by the Bureau. So this means that goods intended to be transferred from one mode to another do not have to pay duties and taxes. However, naa pa siya mga qualifications for the exemption. Next is period to load. Goods intended for transshipment must be loaded in the exporting means of transport within 30 in a calendar days from the date of arrival. For this purpose, the exportation commences upon the actual loading on board the exporting carrier of the transshipment goods. So, ang Bureau is maalalong saya sa extension for such a valid causes. First na ni is ang force majeure. Kaning force majeure is mao ni siyang mga unexpected event or situation that makes impossible to contract or difficult to contract. Act of public enemy in war, whether international or civil siya. If the container is damaged or leaked, if ang container is naay mga daot or leakage. Next is legal order or act of competent public authority and other causes beyond the control of shipper or agent or other analogous situation. Next, we have failure to load. In case of failure to load within the period allowed, the transshipment goods shall be treated by the Bureau as a regular importation. When the owner or interested party, after due notice, fails to file the goods declaration within the prescribed period under Section 407 of the same TA, the goods shall be subjected to the provisions of Chapter 6 of the same TA on abandonment. If the owner or interested party fails to file the required goods declaration after receiving notice, the goods will be considered abandoned according to Chapter 6 of the CMTA. Next is transfer note. Transfers of transshipment goods from the carrier to the designated CFW and vice versa shall be accompanied by a transfer note or any other document or system to be adopted and utilized for the purpose. Next is customs supervision in the handling of movement of transshipment goods. The handling and movement of the transshipment goods from the carrier to the within the CFW inside the port of entry shall be under continuous supervision and subject to the rules and regulation issued by the Bureau to include safeguard measures to ensure the transshipment goods shall not be diverted to the domestic market. Meaning is the handling and movement of transshipment goods from the carrier to the CFW at the port of entry must be closely monitored and adhere to rules and regulation set forth by the Bureau. Next is transshipment goods declaration. The Bureau shall develop a system for the data capture of all transshipment transactions for effective monitoring and statistical reporting. Until such time, monitoring statistical reporting of transshipment should not be governed by existing rules and regulation issued by the Bureau. For outbound goods by sea, subject to transshipment that the carrier or its customs broker or authorized representative shall electronically submit the transshipment goods declaration in the Bureau's automated system prior to loading into the carrying vessel. Para sa mga outbound goods nga ipaagi sa dagat or sea subject to transshipment, the carrier or its customs broker or any authorized representative shall electronically submit the transshipment goods declaration in the Bureau's automated system. For outbound goods by air, subject to transshipment, the customs inspector on board shall allow the loading of goods to the aircraft by tagging the airway bill in the Bureau's automated system. Para sa mga outbound goods by air nga ipaagi sa air, subject to transshipment, the customs inspector on board shall allow the loading of goods to the aircraft by tagging the airway bill. Prohibited goods covered by international conventions or agreements. Hazardous and nuclear waste (WMD), nationally controlled goods without the requisite prior authorization from the appropriate regulatory agency, if applicable, and other goods subject of prohibitory laws or international conventions wherein the Philippines is a signatory, e.g. Basel Convention, CITES, etc., shall not be discharged from the carrier even for transshipment purposes. Next is goods covered by Section 4.7.1. Discharge at the port shall be seized by the Bureau and proceeded against in accordance with this CAO and other existing rules and regulations without prejudice to the filing of appropriate prosecution against the persons liable for administrative or criminal offenses, if any. Transshipment goods covered by Basel Convention and RA number 6969, other known as the Toxic Substances and Hazardous and Nuclear Waste Control Act of 1990, discharged at the port shall be immediately returned to the country of origin by the exporting carrier or agent either before or after the seizure proceeding without prejudice to the filing of administrative or criminal charges, if any, against any person involved. Next is seizure of transporting vessel. In case of hazardous waste, radioactive waste, and other toxic substances provided under the Basel Convention and RA number 6969, the transporting vessel shall be seized by the Bureau and proceeded against in accordance with the same DA. Meaning ani, in case of naay mga hazardous waste, radioactive waste, and other toxic substances provided under sa Basel Convention number 6969, the transporting vessels shall be seized by the Bureau. Kuhaon na siya sa Bureau. Proceeded against in accordance with the same DA. Goods with derogatory information. Transshipment goods with the derogatory information shall be subject to non-intrusive inspection or physical examination for verification upon order or the district collector in the presence of representative from the carrier and consumed regulatory agency if applicable. So, ang transshipment goods that contain derogatory infos will undergo either non-intrusive inspection or physical examination for verification as mandated by the district collector. So we have seizure of transshipment goods, prohibited goods for the transshipment covered by international conventions or any laws shall be seized by the Bureau. The procedure and the seizure and forfeiture shall be governed by existing rules and regulations on seizure and forfeiture. So kaning mga prohibited goods, or should I say kanang mga forbidden or banned goods for transshipment nga gi-covered sang international conventions or any laws shall be seized by the Bureau. Again, i-seize siya sa Bureau, ang mo-seized ang Bureau. The procedure in the seizure and forfeiture is governed in the siya sang existing rules and regulation sa pag-seize and pag-forfeit. Next is data monitoring. The Bureau of Customs shall institutionalize a reporting system for the proper monitoring of all transshipments. The collection, recording, storage maintenance, processing, sharing of data and information, and maintenance of data information under this SCAO shall be secured consistent with the Principle on Policy RA number 10173, also known the Data Privacy Act. And lastly, sa general provisions is the risk management. A risk management shall be used to carry out necessary control mechanism for transshipment goods. So, kaning risk management, mo ni sila ang mo-assess, mo-mitigate sa mga potential risk associated with the handling movement of these goods to ensuring safety and enhancing privacy or security. And we have section 5. That is all about operational provisions. First is the responsibilities of the carrier. The carrier shall submit an electronic copy of the IFCM, or also known as Inward Foreign Cargo Manifest, to the Bureau through the Advanced Manifest System, or AMS, within the prescribed period in accordance with the existing regulation issued by the Bureau. So, ang carrier, mao na siya ang mag-submit sa electronic copy of the IFCM, or also known as Inward Foreign Cargo Manifest, to the Bureau through the Advanced Manifest Systems with the prescribed period in accordance with the existing regulation nga issued sa Bureau. Next is ang responsibilities of the Customs Facility and Warehouse, or CFW, operator inside the port. First is mag-provide of marshalling yard where the containers for transshipment will be stored. Ang marshalling yard mao ni siya ang place where containers are stacked and arranged according to the sequence of withdrawal. Next is match the advance manifest to the discharging sequence list from the master of the vessel as received on arrival. And submit inventory report every 2 weeks on the status and exact location of all transshipment goods with the container yard. So mag-submit og inventory report every 2 weeks on the status and exact location of all transshipment goods within the container yard. And last, provide adequate security in the marshalling yard to prevent unauthorized withdrawal of transshipment goods stored therein. So mag-provide siya ng adequate security in the marshalling yard to prevent unauthorized withdrawal of transshipment goods nga gi-stored. Next is special permit to load. The importing carrier or shipping agent shall secure a special permit to load for transshipment goods from the district collector through the deputy collector for operations specifying the goods to be transshipped. So, sa pag-import sa carrier or shipping agent, mag-secure sila sa special permit to load for transshipment goods from the district collector padong sa deputy collector for operations specifying the goods to be transshipped.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Anilov Kindao, and I'm going to tackle supervision fees and schedule penalty. First, supervision fees. The Bureau should collect the following fees for all transshipment goods. First, in case of the port entry is Port of Manila or Manila International Container Port is 1,000 per pesos TEU. Second, in case of other port of entry is 100 pesos TEU. Third is for goods to be transshipped via air or service fee amounting to 1 peso per kilo should be paid by freight forwarders or authorized agent. A copy of the original receipt issued by the AAB should be attached to the printout copy of transshipment declaration or airway bills submitted to the Bureau prior to the loading of the transshipment goods. Ang Bureau of Customs daw is nag-collect og supervision fees alang sa transshipment goods. If nagali kanang something na i-ship sa Manila Port of Manila o Manila International Container Port kay ang bayaran ana kay 100,000 pesos TEU. Then next is kanang alang sa uban mapantalan ang bayaranan ana kay 100 pesos TEU. Then the last one is if air shipment gani siya kay 1 pesos kada kilo nga service fee. Then ikaw na sa mga freight forwarders or authorized kana mga tao. The next is let's talk about schedule penalty. First, unloading of goods for transshipment before arrival of port of entry. If upon the arrival within the limits or of any custom district of the Philippines of any carrier engaged in the foreign trade, the master of the vessel or pilot in command thereof permit any part of goods to be unloaded before arrival at the port of entry and without authorized from proper custom officer, the owner, operator, or agent such as carrier should be liable for following fines. Pasabot ani kay pag kanagaling mag-diskarga ka o madiskarga ka nya sa butang nga i-transshipment sa dili moabot sa gitudlo nga port of entry kay if port entry sa Pilipinas kay walay pagtugod sa custom kay ginadili na siya, so na kay bayaran nga penalty. First penalty is 500,000 pesos, then second penalty is 1 million pesos, then third penalty is 2 million pesos. Next is second is unloading of goods for transshipment at improper time and place after arrival. The owner or operator of any carrier from which transshipment goods are discharged upon arrival in the Philippines at a time or place other than that designated by the district collector should be liable for following fines. ang ginadili sad na ang pagdiskarga sa mga butang nga transshipment sa Pilipinas sa dili authorization nga oras ug lugar human sa pag-abot. Ang mga ang kuan nini ang penalty kay first penalty is 100,000 pesos. Second penalty is 200,000 pesos. Then third penalty is 300,000 pesos. Then third one is failure to supply advance and request manifest, except for the cost beyond the control of the owner, operator, or agent of the carrier. Failure to transmit the electronic copy of the IFCM within the required time prior to the arrival of the carrier if the port of entry should make the owner, operator, or agent of the carrier liable for the following fines. Ang mga carrier kay kinahanglan mo submit of electronic advance manifest like or IFCM sa dili mo abot sa mga pantalan sa Pilipinas. Ang pagkapiyat sa mga pagbuhat niini gawas kung tungod sa dili makontrol nga kahimtang mo result og multa nga ilang penalty is 100,000. First penalty is 100,000 pesos. Second penalty is 200,000 pesos. The third penalty is 300,000 pesos. The fourth one is disappearance of manifested goods for transshipments. When any package or goods for transshipment mentioned in the manifest means to be unloaded upon the arrival of the carrier is not unloaded or missing or has disappeared, its agent should be liable the following fines unless the disappearance of the package or the goods in question was not due to the negligence of the master of the vessels or pilot in command or of any aircraft, and it's explained to the satisfactor of district collector. Ang pasabot ani kay kung ang mga transshipment goods na nakalista sa manifest ay mawala gali siya kay pag mawala siya o hindi nakita pag kanang or dili nawala nakita pag abot sa Pilipinas kay ahente ang carrier kay naanay multa. Ang first penalty ana is 100,000. Second penalty is 200,000. Third penalty is 300,000. The next is the fifth is false statement of port of final destination of transshipment goods when the master of the vessels or the pilot in command of the aircraft loaded with goods should make a false statement of the final destination of transshipment goods loaded on board such carrier that the owner or operator of such carrier should be liable for the following fines. Kung magkanig ikaw ka ng false accusation or false kanang sayop nga ka na mga gipang storya is kay nana siya penalty for ay kanang like false accusation ba nga kanang katapusan nga kanang padung sa iyang kuan sa iyang destination sa mga butang nga i-transshipment kay nana siya kanang penalty. First penalty ana kay 100,000 pesos. Second penalty is 200,000 pesos. The third penalty is 300,000 pesos. The last two is Schedule penalty is in case of failure to load within the period allowed, the import means of transshipment should be liable for the following fines. Kung sea freights gali kay 500 pesos per TEU per day, for air goods gali kay 100 pesos per kilogram per day. Then next is any person who violates any provision of the CAO or custom memorandum order issued pursuant thereto, for which delinquency no specific penalty is provided, should be liable for the following fines. First penalty niya is 100,000 pesos. Second penalty is 200,000 pesos. Then the third penalty is 300,000 pesos. Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Kyler Lapas and I am going to discuss the Chapter 8 and 9 of the Customs and Receipt Order number 12-2019. Section 8, Periodic Review. Unless otherwise provided, this Customs and Receipt Order shall be reviewed every 3 years and be amended or revised if necessary. It states that every 3 years, the Customs Administrative Order or CAO will review or revise. In short, every 3 years, in-update ang Administrative Order ng Customs if necessary. Example, this Administrative Order dated year 2019. So after 3 years, year 2022, dina-review and revise na nila. Next na i-update nila ang Customs Administrative Order or CAO is expected on year 2025. Because as I said, this CAO shall be reviewed and revised every 3 years. And that is Section 8. Section 9, Separability Clause. If any part of this CAO or Customs Administrative Order is declared by court as unconstitutional or contrary to existing law, the other part not so declared shall remain in full force and effect. So, it means it is a provision in a legal contract that states if one part of the order is found unconstitutional or invalid by a court, the rest of the contract will still remain invalid and unenforceable. Example, if a contract includes a clause that violates a law, a separability clause allows a judge to sever or remove the problematic part. So, it means ang ma-remove lang is only a part, not a whole. A part lang that found illegal or that are violated the law, or unconstitutional, so that the rest of the contract can still remain or enforce and affect. And that is all Section 9 all about.
Section 10. Rules and regulation or parts thereof inconsistent with the provision of this CAO are hereby expressly repealed, amended, or modified. So in Section 10, rules and regulation with provision of this CAO is pwede siya ma-repealed or modified or ma-revoke accordingly. So in Section 10, Section 11, on Section 11, publication in the official gazette or a newspaper of a general calculation will be effect after 8 days, and the office of the National Administration Register or ONER, it shall be provided at least 3 certified copies of this CAO